Hey all, Kunik here, back with some RPG stories for you all today, and this video is going to be a little bit different than my normal videos. You see, I'm going to be trying out a new type of video today, something I'm calling Short Stories Wednesday. The theory is that a lot of stories posted online are not really qualifiable for a full video, but many of them are very entertaining, and so I wanted to try and include them in a video. Hence where this idea came from. So after the video is done, if you liked the concept or didn't like the concept, please leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Anyhow, with that all said, let's roll for initiative and begin the stories. Story number 1, The Professor. Not the worst horror story, but an important lesson in making sure playstyles mesh. Our forever DM wanted to be a player, and a friend of a friend, themselves a DM, heard about it and offered to run a campaign for our crew. We met with this person, they seemed nice and very into the game, so we agreed to let them DM for us. Our crew was very casual, and it didn't take long to realize this DM took the game very seriously. This took place many years ago, before having a session 0 was commonplace, so we jumped right in. This DM ended up being nicknamed The Professor, because not only were they actually a college professor, but also ran a game like it was a classroom. Before the first game, the professor sent us what was essentially a syllabus. It outlined the game world, rules, and expectations. Maybe not very unusual, but it was strangely formal, especially for a group more used to casual and friendly play. It also got weirdly aggressive in spots. Absolutely no PvP. If a player even picks up a dice to attack another player, we're done. I'm going home. Since we played bi-weekly and didn't see each other much, game night was a chance for us to catch up. Sometimes the game was paused for a few minutes to swap a quick story or two, like friends do. The professor wasn't having any of that though, and quickly shut down any such conversations. At the end of each session, we received an assignment. We had to write up the actions our characters performed, including any spells that were cast and abilities that were used, and explain how each of these actions benefited the party and/or the story. These assignments had to be submitted in a timely fashion. The professor would then read each one and award experience points based on the write-up, instead of, noting XP in real time. From what I can recall, the game itself was okay, but having our fun and casual game night turned into a strict and formal affair, plus receiving homework assignments, was a huge turnoff. After a few sessions, we kindly told the professor it wasn't working out. Another player agreed to DM, and we resumed our normal gameplay. Story 2, The People's Elbow versus Cultist. This happened not long ago. Yesterday, in fact. In our session, we were hunting down a few cultists. In the party, we have a bard, a rogue, the monk, which is me, a cleric, and an artificer. So me and our rogue were following these cultists to see what they were up to. They attacked a guy, and combat initiated. I looked down from the roof we had followed them from, and decide, that's a lot of momentum to put into one hit. And then decide to drop one of the cultists with the people's elbow, saying, "Oh yeah!" in my best Macho Man voice. I actually got one hit off and dealt a fair whack of damage. Just wanted to post this so others could laugh. Story 3, Operation Tarrasque Drop. I run a Mutants and Masterminds campaign, and my players are solely responsible for this moment of wonder. I'm simply recording it for the delight of you all here. For those not familiar, Mutants and Masterminds is a D20 based superhero game. My players were a team of fairly powerful superheroes known as Prime Ultra. Recent events had led to Prime Ultra starting to have a series of adventures in space, as you do sometimes in comic books, and even picking up a new member when a new player joined the group. Well, Prime Ultra had found themselves on the jungle moon of a planet known for its megafauna. After a straight-up fight against a giant monster, where Prime Ultra prevented the city they were in from taking too much damage, I unleashed the real challenge of the adventure on them. The Tarrasque has arrived. Rather than straight fight, which Prime Ultra would almost certainly win handily, welcome to M&M baby, I was using the Tarrasque as a way to introduce some more of the unique concepts of M&M to our players. The players could not actively do too much harm to the Tarrasque, as it was somehow tied to the life force of every living creature on the planet. Instead, they needed to lead it away from the city, preferably back to its lair, and so off the team went. overcoming various obstacles, holding the Tarrasque's attention without dealing damage to it, leading it away. At last, they reach the final obstacle. They've managed to lead the Tarrasque to the edge of a cliff. At the bottom of the cliff lay the land where the Tarrasque makes its lair, but how to get it down the nearly mile-long drop without injuring it? Enter the team's newest member, Quick Draw, an artist with the ability to cause the things she draws to manifest as real, permanent objects in the real world. Faced with the problem of how to get the massive beast to the bottom of the cliff, she comes up with the core of Plan Awesome. I'm going to draw a parachute for the Tarrasque, Quick Draw declares, and the rest of Prime Ultra is immediately on board. Team Strongman El Oso declares that once the parachute is drawn and attached, he is going to use his super strength to attempt to collapse a part of the cliff to send the Tarrasque along its journey. And thus, with the collapsing cliff creating a massive updraft, the mighty fantasy kaiju took to the air, sailing high into the air and descending amidst a brilliant sunset slowly, gently, and, dare I say, majestically into the valley below. The Tarrasque would ultimately return to its lair, and Quick Draw, to that point someone the team had kind of picked up, became an immediate and permanent member of the Prime Ultra roster, and everybody lived happily ever after, having adventures that continued to this very day. Later, the group asked me what the intended solution to the cliff problem was, and I said I kind of envisioned El Oso and Quick Draw working together to reshape the cliff into a ramp the Tarrasque could walk down. Considering how much more incredible their plan wound up being, though, I'm glad it never occurred to them to try. End posts. Yeah, these were a lot of fun to read, and just to go back to the professor's story, I'm really glad that Session 0 exists now so that you can catch issues like this from ever happening in the future. Anyhow, again, if you like the idea of Short Stories Wednesdays, and you want to see more of them, please leave a comment below to let me know. Or, if you don't like the idea, also leave me a comment so that I can be aware of that too. As always, the source of the stories are in the description below, and right next to them is a link to our Discord server, so be sure to head over there too if you want to chat with us in a more direct manner. And if you like these stories and you want to see more videos just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to be notified of my future videos. Now, while you wait for those future videos, here are a few related videos from my channel that you can watch in the meantime.